Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Coming up on 10:09 right now. Got a lot to track right now in the Weather Center, including what could be the hottest temperature that we've seen so far this summer. As I'm forecasting 97 degrees. We've made it to 96 so far this year, but both Friday and Saturday, my high temperature forecast has been updated to 97. So really, really hot, dangerously hot, in fact. So much that I've never really seen this before. High school football games are being postponed to later in the evening. 8 p.m. will be a start time for a lot of football games around the area due to how hot it will be, giving every little ounce of ability to cool it down a little bit before they start kickoff. So a lot going on there, plus the tropics. I highlighted an area earlier today that I felt was something we need to watch closely. National Hurricane Center also highlighting that tonight. We've got a lot to talk about, so let's get right to it. So thank you for tuning in. Please, if you can, let me know that this is coming through loud and clear. I see we've got Columbia in the house. We've got Greenville, Pumpkin Town. Livonia's watching right now. Greenville County's in the house. Thank you guys for all watching right now. I truly appreciate your viewership and for you trusting me during severe weather. If you can and you haven't already, shameless plug, follow me on YouTube. New outlet to help you out and to reach the masses during severe weather. Another way to reach people and keep people safe. All right, here is what I'm tracking right now. Franklin's causing flooding in the Caribbean right now. It's leaving the Caribbean Sea, moving into the Atlantic Basin, where it is going to become a formidable Category 2 hurricane with winds over 100 miles per hour. A cold front is on the way, and should it arrive on schedule and as strong as it's supposed to, it will protect the East Coast from Franklin, and it will move between the Outer Banks and Bermuda. And another Gulf system possible could also become a strong tropical system in the coming days. I spy with my little eye that area. National Hurricane Center highlighting that in the Caribbean Sea as a piece of energy will develop out of some of this tropical moisture gathering here over the Yucatan Peninsula. As it pulls north out of the Caribbean Sea into the Gulf, this is an area I've been highlighting that is jet fuel right now, so to speak. It's an area that is concerning due to the heat content that it has, and it could cause a storm to get strong and quickly. Need to watch that closely, okay? This would be early to mid next week. You've got Franklin right here. You've got the remnants of Gert. You've got another system moving west. Should not be a threat to the United States, and neither will this one. You also got a couple other waves moving off the African coast. So let's get right to it. There's that Gulf system I'm watching as it moves into the Gulf out of the Caribbean Sea. Likely next Monday is when we'll see that happen. We will likely see that turn into a tropical storm, maybe even a hurricane. If you're listening to our European model, it would be a strong hurricane. That's why we need to watch this closely. General direction would be toward Florida in one way, shape, or form, whether it be Central Florida or the Panhandle. We still need to iron out. We don't know, and nobody can tell you how strong this is going to be, but I can tell you we need to watch it. Okay, my philosophy is to always be very transparent in my forecasting with you. I will let you know when we need to be concerned, and right now, other than just paying attention to it, you do not need to be concerned about it, but we know in the Carolinas, especially in the Western Carolinas, when it comes from the Gulf, we need to watch out. It can be big-time systems impacting us from the south like that. We are watching Franklin. Let's start with that. It has caused devastating flooding for the Dominican Republic. You have to think there's some pretty tall mountains there, and that's just leading to that rain running straight down. Landslides, flooding, a big concern there. Puerto Rico getting quite a bit of rainfall. That's moving toward the Turks and Caicos. Then it will move north-northeast, where it will move out into open water, of which is very warm. Then it hooks west, only to move back north again because of an approaching cold front. Thankfully, that cold front is remaining consistently strong in our computer models, so we are looking at it just pushing it out to sea. Good news there. Let me show you big picture, including that system in the Caribbean and / Gulf. There's Franklin right there. There's the cold front protecting us. Now, that same cold front that's protecting us from Franklin, unfortunately, it can't help itself. It could usher whatever this is in the Gulf northeastbound toward the United States. Okay, it's just the way the steering currents are set up. Now, this could do two things. You get a tropical system down here feeding that front, wherever it is, will unleash tremendous amounts of rain. Now, if that front's right over us, we could get quite a bit of rain from the front fed by the tropical system. Seen that happen a number of times. But more than likely, this front's going to kind of be the train track / the blocker to keep this system wherever it's going to go. And in this case, the European says, I'm going to go through the Panhandle of Florida, Big Bend region, and then up through Jacksonville, impacting Savannah, Charleston, Myrtle Beach, while the Western Carolinas are mainly dry at this point. We'd have to watch that closely because whatever this is could move into the Carolinas by about a week from now. This would be 8 days from now, next Thursday. Formidable tropical system sitting over the Carolinas. This according to the European model. All right, let me show you why we need to be concerned about this, why we need to be honed in on it. You know I will be. I'll be keeping you up to date each day on whether this is going up or down. Whatever it is going to cause some rain wherever. We just don't want to see this strengthen. And unfortunately, like I've been highlighting, this area near the Turks and Caicos through Cuba into the Gulf, just prime right now. I'll show you that heat fuel content in just a moment, but it is locked and loaded, ready to fuel any kind of system that tries to move in. And here you go. It's got one, and it looks defeated according to this European model, where we could have a strong system moving northeast bound. This would be next Tuesday, approaching Florida. Next Wednesday, Thursday, moving into the Carolinas is likely a strong tropical system, according to the European. This is not gospel. Please don't say Chris is saying this is going to happen. Again, my philosophy, take it or leave it, is to be transparent in my forecasting. I want to give you all the information responsibly. It requires a lot of responsibility on my part to tell you, okay, here's what I'm looking at, not what is exactly going to happen. So, for what it's worth, we need to be watching it. Right here is Franklin in bright red. You're also watching this little spin up right here. This, according to the European model, moves north where it begins to strengthen more. This would be next Tuesday. You got Franklin here. You got this system here. Another wave moving off the African coast there. Okay. Here we are next Wednesday, moving into Florida, Georgia. Thursday into the Carolinas. Couple of other areas to watch. Then it's moving out by Labor Day weekend. All right, let's look at the GFS model. What is it saying? It's got Franklin moving northbound right there, moving into Bermuda. It also has a tropical system. So I've got consistency in my two most reliable computer models, the European and the American. Both are showing something. The GFS is more broad and weak, kind of a sloppy system. But there it goes. You saw it kind of move into Florida and then kind of dissipate along that front, get strung out along that front, and then it's gone. All right, nothing really else forms behind it. We kind of enter a quiet period in the Labor Day weekend. You've seen that area highlighted deeper into the Atlantic. That is Tropical Wave Invest 92L. It is moving west-northwest, and then middle of the Atlantic should not be a threat to the United States. We are ticking off the names. I mentioned earlier this month we were likely to blaze through some hurricane names here, and we have done so. We had Emily, Franklin, Gert, and Harold get named. We've already done away with Emily, Gert, and Harold, and now we have Franklin still spinning around. Even though it formed earlier, it is lasting longer. Not uncommon. This will likely become a Category 2 hurricane, our first of the season. We've already had one hurricane, that was Dawn. Idalia will be the next name on the list, which could be out in the middle of the Atlantic. So that may not be the one that threatens the southeast coast. It could be Jose. So one or the other. Likely Idalia gets named first, and then Jose might be the one that is a threat, and we need to watch closely. So there you have it. Folks, we got a lot to watch here, and with everything, we've got to just take it for what it's worth at this moment. We're talking a week out. The models are picking up on something. It is something we need to watch. A signal like that from all of our global models is got me watching it very closely. I want to show you one thing as I move on to the heat here that I like to look at with regard to tropical systems, and it's an average of all the computer models, what we call the ensembles. This is the European ensembles. It basically takes 51 different runs and gives them slightly different variables, slightly different positions, slightly different strength. And if you end up at the same point, you know you got an accurate forecast. So you look for an average of these. And this is an average of all the 51 runs of the European model, and this shows you where tropical development could happen. And here you go. you've got very good consensus that Harold is going to move north, then northeast, then north, and move away from the United States. You've also got some fairly good consensus that whatever's happening here in the Pacific tries to make its way over Mexico or over the Central America here, and then goes into the Caribbean Sea where it gets pulled up. Now, does it make land and interaction with Yucatan Peninsula and remain weak as it moves toward Florida? That's possible. But you've got a signal here from all 51 models of the European showing something is forming here and moving north. Now, how strong it is, we just don't know yet. We've got to map it out and watch out for it. All right. The heat is another concern. It's still 80 degrees right now in Greenville. What has been a very pleasant day. We had a nice breeze. We had lower humidity today. Tomorrow morning when you wake up and get your day started, we'll wake up to the 60s. It'll be quite comfortable getting out the door to school and work. But it warms up quickly. By 10 o'clock, we're already at 79 degrees. Your wake-up weather looks like this. The sun will come up at 6:55. We're looking at partly cloudy skies. But it turns hot. And like I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, it'll be so hot that schools are postponing the kickoff time of many high school football games to 8 p.m. In an effort to allow it to be as cool as possible when they're playing those football games. Not a bad idea when it's going to be so hot. So your wake-up weather tomorrow morning, Greenville, Spartanburg, Anderson, and Asheville, all in the low to mid-60s. Quite a nice start to your day. And tomorrow's not bad. Yes, it's going to be hot, low 90s, lots of sunshine. It's later on this week that I've got the hottest temperatures we forecast all summer long. Friday, 97, Saturday, 97. Both days look equally as painful and hot. It's one of those times you really got to take it serious. I mean, it's hot this time of the year. We know that. But it's not usually this hot. This would be almost 10 degrees above where we should be this time of the year. So what's on your mind? Is it the heat? Is it the tropics? What is concerning you tonight? Let's chat. Let's keep this conversation going. And, of course, you can find me on WYFF News 4 at 11 o'clock coming up here in, 39 minutes. So my philosophy, again, is to keep you informed of what's going on. There is something we need to watch in the Caribbean/Gulf. Is it a threat right now? No. Do I know that it's going to be a threat? Absolutely not. We don't know that yet. And if it does, we will keep you posted. And, of course, I'll be unraveling that for you day by day. Jessica, when is the snow coming? Snow will be here this winter. I think we're in store for a winter to remember with the kind of setup that we have coming our way. Myrtle Beach for us next week. Anything to worry about? Austin, certainly something we're watching. Nothing to worry about right now. Would not cancel any plans, but do be ready to check back in. Keep watching it, okay? Worried about that storm heading toward the Gulf. Got somebody watching from Chile. Thank you for watching right now. Worried about that storm heading the Gulf. Cheryl, yeah, we're watching it. Certainly watching it. No need to be worried right now. In fact, we're just kind of we're prepared. We're wanting to check back in. Hello from Liberty. Thank you for watching on YouTube right now. Wanting rain in Fountain Inn, please. I could use some rain at my house, too. Absolutely. I see it coming, says Jessica. Flying out to the Dominican Republic Friday. Hope we can get a break from the storms for a week. That sounds fun. Yeah, things are looking okay in that area beyond what's happening right now. Very significant rains over them right now. Asheville, you're going to be near 90 through Saturday, then cooling down. West Union's in the house. Cheryl has family. We'll be watching it for you, Cheryl. Does the dust from Africa come every year? Damon, it does. Thank you for watching. You're always a faithful viewer. Thank you for that. Dust does come every year. It is a cyclical thing, and right now it's cycling down, which is why we're seeing all this tropical activity crop back up. Katie, I'm glad I'm not the only one thinking how bad winter might be. Well, yeah, it's certainly looking like that. Hey, Chris from YouTube. Can you explain the dew point versus the humidity? Well, the dew point is just how we measure the moisture content in the atmosphere. Humidity, actually, if I could do away with humidity, I'd do away with it on the weather maps. It's one of those things that's a little bit antiquated. It doesn't give you a big picture. It can be very humid and still be 50% humidity. And that's because the temperature is 90 degrees. And some people think, okay, well, it's a direct relation of the dew point divided by the temperature divided by the dew point. No, it's a much deeper equation than that. It contains wind. It contains wet bulb temperature. So simply put, the dew point, you measure it by the level. 60 and above is muggy. 70 above is just tropical. If it's in the 50s, it feels fantastic out, so low humidity. So you can look at a dew point map and get a whole lot more information than just the humidity. It can be 98% humidity because it's foggy and cloudy in the morning, but be quite warm, or it could be quite cool out. So it's kind of hard to explain humidity or really even the reason why we need to still show it. All right, why do we see dust everywhere? Jessica, we see wildfire smoke, actually, this past couple of days. There's been some degree of that from Canada. We have not had dust in our area so far this year, at least a pronounced amount of it. There was some Saharan dust in Florida, made some very vibrant sunsets. Terry says, when will we start to see fall temps? I'm so sick of the heat. Yeah, me too. I'm ready for football weather. I'm ready for fire weather outside. I love a good fire. It's going to come. September, we'll start to see cool nights, as we always do. Meteorological fall begins September 1st. That's when we typically see the cooler temperatures move in. Slowly but surely. It's still going to be very hot into September, but we'll start to see it changing. Going to Charleston Saturday, says Kathy. Any rain in sight? Sounds like a blast. Love Charleston. There will be some afternoon thunderstorms each day going into the weekend. Probably not a washout by any means, but we are watching the tropics for next week. If something does form, I could see impacts moving toward the Carolinas by Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Of course, we'll be watching it closely. Going to Clearwater, Florida on Wednesday. Hopefully, we do not have to reschedule. I certainly hope not either, Zach. We'll be watching it closely for you. Evan, private pilot here. Plan on flying my family back from the beach on Sunday. How is the weather this weekend looking? Any storms? Right now, Evan, it looks like Sunday we'll have afternoon thunderstorms as a cold front approaches. Our first cold front we've had in a while, so you could run into some thunderstorms on Sunday. If you can travel Saturday, I'd suggest it, but it won't be anything widespread on Sunday. And if there is, you could probably plan around it and delay it or come a little bit earlier if you had to. Callan's watching from YouTube. Hello, Campobello, South Carolina. Any thunderstorms in our area anytime soon? It's hot. Yeah, Callan, you'll likely get some thunderstorms beginning Sunday as a cold front moves in. Joy watching from going to Polly's Island. That sounds amazing. Right now, looks okay. You know, we're watching it closely for you. Corbin, we see dangerous heat this week. What is the heat index? The heat index will be around 102, 103 Friday, Saturday. There's not a tremendous amount of humidity in the air both days, so that at least is one thing on our side. Deb's watching from Gaffney. Thanks for keeping us informed. Deb, you are more than welcome. My pleasure. Donna, it's going to be so hot Friday. That's not good. Yeah, Donna, it's going to be very, very hot. That is certainly one of the hottest temperatures we've had so far this summer, and we are watching it very closely. Hey, folks, thank you for tuning in. I hope you'll tune in on WYFF News 4 at 11 o'clock. Coming up here in about 30 minutes, we'll have much, much more. And then make sure you wake up and watch Perella first thing tomorrow morning. She'll be getting you out the door with your temperatures as the day goes on. Tomorrow's going to be a very hot day. We'll be mapping it out for you. Our team's going to keep you posted when it comes to the tropics. Anything that forms, we will let you know. And